Steph sits across from Lady Winston at the breakfast table, listening to another speech about the Winston legacy, Don Pablo's generosity, and what it means to be a woman of value. The word value lands like a slap. By the time her mother leaves the room, Steph is already reaching for her coat. The plan forms fast and furious. Find the most unsuitable man in the city, marry him today, and hand her mother the receipt. She walks to Harlow City Park, because nobody suitable sits in Harlow City Park, and finds Jonas Declan on a bench, reading the Art War, sipping coffee from paper cup, wearing boots with a crack along the left sole. Perfect, she thinks. He's perfect. Welcome to Mr. Bryan's Tale, where every story takes you on an unforgettable journey. Whether it's thrilling adventures, heartwarming moments, or tales that'll keep you on the edge of your seat, this is your destination for captivating storytelling. If you love getting lost in exciting narratives and discovering new worlds with every video, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, so you never miss out on the next amazing tale. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. The Winston breakfast table is a war zone dressed as a dining room. White linen, polished silver, Lady Winston at the head, immaculate, imperious, listing Don Pablo's virtues like line items on a balance sheet. Steph sits across from her, jaw tight, watching her mother reduce her entire existence to securing the Winston future. Lady Winston slides a dinner reservation card across the table. Friday, Don Pablo's restaurant, with a navy dress. Steph picks it up, turns it over, sets it down. No, she says, and her mother laughs, because she always laughs at Steph's resistance, like it's a charming phase she'll outgrow by dessert. That laugh is the match. 20 minutes later, Steph is walking through Harlow City Park in her good heels, a freshly printed marriage certificate in her handbag, scanning benches like she's shopping. She passes joggers, pigeons, a man arguing with a pretzel cart, and then she sees him. Military coat, white beard, cracked boots, a copy of the Art War open across his knees, coffee steaming in one gloved hand, completely at peace with the world. She sits down next to him. "Excuse me," she says. "Are you married?" He doesn't look up. "Not yet." She pulls out the certificate. "Do you want to be?" He finally looks up. His eyes are dark, steady, unhurried, the kind that watched worse things in a woman in a designer dress waving legal documents at a stranger on a Tuesday morning. There are lines around them, a scar along his jaw, faint and silver. He is not young. He is not rattled. He is deeply, infuriatingly unbothered. "You're serious," he says. "It's not a question." Completely. Steph keeps her voice level. She has rehearsed this. "I need a husband, temporarily inconvenient, minimal requirements. I'm not asking for love. I'm asking for a signature." He looks at the certificate, looks at her, takes a slow sip of coffee. "Why me?" She almost tells him the truth, that she picked him because he looked like the opposite of everything her mother had planned, that his cracked boots and paper cup and utter indifference to the city buzzing around him were exactly the ingredients for a social catastrophe, that she needed a weapon and he looked available. Instead, she says, "You seem like you could use a change." Something shifts at the corner of his mouth. Not quite a smile. "I'm Jonas," he says. "Stephanie." "Steph, you do this often, Steph? Propose to strangers?" "First time." "You?" "First time someone proposed to me in a park." He closes his book, The Art of War. She clocks the title with a flicker of unease and studies the certificate properly. His eyes move through it with the quiet focus of someone trained to read a situation completely before responding to it. He picks up a pen from his coat pocket, signs, finishes his coffee. "I need to be home by 6, he says. Steph stares at him. This is going perfectly. She tells herself, it is not going perfectly. The courthouse smells like floor wax and bureaucracy. 2 strangers stand before a clerk named Gerald, who is clearly witness weirder. Though he does pause when Steph arrives in heels that cost more than his monthly rent, and Jonas arrives in the same coat he wore on the bench. "Rings?" Gerald asks. Steph hadn't thought about rings. Of course she hadn't. This was supposed to be a demolition, not a wedding. She opens her mouth to improvise, and Jonas reaches into his coat pocket and produces a simple silver band. Plain, solid, like something a soldier might carry. She doesn't ask why he had it. She slides it on. It fits. Gerald pronounces them married in 4 minutes flat. They sign. A security guard and a woman waiting for her parking permit serve as witnesses. Jonas shakes Gerald's hand. Steph stares at the ring on her finger, like it's a live grenade. Outside, she fires off a single text to Lady Winston. Married this morning. His name is Jonas Declan. Don Pablo can keep the reservation. Her phone explodes. She turns it face down. Your mother? Jonas asks, watching her. Former warden. Steph corrects. He almost smiles again. Almost. They take a cab to his address. She's expecting a shelter or a halfway house, or she hates herself slightly for thinking it. Nothing. What she gets is a clean, quietly furnished apartment on the 14th floor of a building in the financial district. Sparse, yes. Militarily spare, even, but not poverty. Not even close. She looks out the window. The glass tower from the park is 3 blocks away. Nice view, she says carefully. It serves its purpose, Jonas replies. Living with Jonas Declan is like sharing an apartment with a very calm natural disaster. He wakes at 5 a.m., silently, without an alarm, like his body runs on military time and always will. By the time Steph stumbles into the kitchen at 7, there's coffee made, real coffee, not gas station. She notes with surprise, and Jonas is at the table with the art war again, or some other dense strategic text, reading with the same unhurried focus he gives everything. You've read that 3 times, Steph says, pouring coffee. 4, he replies without looking up. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. Are you quoting Sun Tzu at breakfast? Are you wearing heels in the kitchen? She looks down. She is, in fact, wearing heels in the kitchen. They have a rhythm now, uneasy, unspoken, but real. She works remotely, managing the legal paperwork to block Lady Winston's annulment attempts. He disappears for hours, returns with groceries, asks no questions about her calls. He cooks simply and well. He never raises his voice. It irritates her enormously. Where do you go? She asks one evening, when he comes back smelling of conference rooms and printer ink. Errands, he says. Errands, she repeats flatly. You have your secrets, Steph. I have mine. She wants to argue, but he's already setting a plate in front of her. Actual food, hot and good, and she is humiliatingly hungry. Don Pablo calls twice. She doesn't answer. Lady Winston leaves a voicemail. This embarrassment ends this week. Jonas listens to it over her shoulder, expressionless. Your mother, he says, underestimates you. Steph goes very still. The shouting comes first, then the silence, then, unexpectedly, the truth. Steph sits at the kitchen table at 11 p.m. and tells Jonas everything. The breakfast table ultimatum, the navy dress, Don Pablo's manicured hands, and Lady Winston's borrowed pride. The way she had walked into that park looking for a weapon and come home with a husband. Jonas listens. He does not interrupt. He does not judge. When she finishes, he's quiet for a moment. Then, I left Declan Capital for 6 months. Board wanted a merger I didn't believe in. 15 years of building something real, and suddenly it was becoming something I didn't recognize. He looks at his coffee cup. I needed to remember what mattered before money made me forget. By sitting in parks, and reading, and thinking. A pause, and apparently getting proposed to. She almost laughs. Almost. What do we do now, she asks. Depends on what you want. She thinks about the Winston name, about Lady Winston's voicemails, about Don Pablo's reservation that she never kept, and the life she refused to live. Then she looks at Jonas, this impossible, infuriating, steady man, and she thinks about burnt coffee at 7 a.m. and the art war at breakfast, and the way he said you have your secrets. I have mine like it was a promise, not a wall. I want to stay, she says. He nods slowly. Then we stay. The glass tower catches the sunrise through the window. Lady Winston's lawyer calls at 8 a.m. Steph lets it ring. Jonas makes breakfast. They are, neither of them, who they pretended to be. They are, somehow, exactly who the other one needed. 3 months after a woman in good heels sat down next to a stranger on a park bench, Stephanie Winston, now legally Stephanie Declan, walks into the annual Winston Legacy Gala on the arm of her husband. Lady Winston sees them first. The room sees her see them. Jonas is in a black suit that fits like it was built for him, because it was. No cracked boots, no paper cup, just dark. Steady eyes scanning the room the way a man does when he's already assessed every exit and decided he doesn't need one. The glass tower, his glass tower, is visible through the ballroom window, lit gold against the night sky. Don Pablo goes pale. Lady Winston's smile doesn't waver. It never does. But her champagne glass tilts slightly in her hand. Steph leans close to Jonas. They're staring. Let them, he says. She had come here to ruin a legacy. Instead, she had walked into a bigger one and chosen on her own terms. That, she realizes, is the only victory that ever mattered. Lady Winston approaches, perfectly composed, rebuilt in real time. Jonas, she says, extending her hand. I underestimated you. Jonas shakes it. Most people do. He glances at Steph, just briefly, the way you look at someone when the world is loud and they are your quiet. And she squeezes his arm. The gala carries on. The tower glows. Somewhere across the city, a park bench sits empty under the stars. And two people who married for all the wrong reasons discover they had, somehow, found exactly the right one. She came to burn it all down. She stayed to build something greater. And that's the story, family. If Steph and Jonas taught us anything, it's that the boldest move you'll ever make isn't the one you planned. It's the one that surprises even you. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. Because on Mr. BRYAN Tales, every story we tell is one you won't see coming. See you in the next one.